So long story short, unfortunately, after they broke up,
Mhm.
just the tenant that remained was not paying consistently. And so what I had to do was I initially was going the approach of an N12
Yes.
because in my research as a landlord, and I'm a novice landlord,
Yes.
I was concerned with the N4 route.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it's so
Which is
easy.
non-payment of rent.
That's right.
Yeah. Notice to evict due to non-payment of rent. And I assume your hesitation behind that is because the landlord and tenant board is very slow and they are
No,
very
actually,
pro-tenant.
it's there. Thank you. That's the only, it was just pro tenant,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So you go, you file, you do your hearing. The adjudicator or the judge will say, are you going to come up with some type of payment plan? If they say yes, then basically they're allowed to stay. And that's how you have these arrears that get into the $30,000, $40,000 because there are tenants that understand what needs to be done in order to delay the eviction process.
Exactly.
So I guess you were scared to get caught in that loophole.
100%, 100%. And so I just started researching, the N12 versus the N4, and it just seemed like the N12 was just a little
Well, it's
bit
clean.
more.
It's clean.
Well,
You're taking possession. Tenant has to leave as long as they're in a month-to-month lease.
yeah.
That's it.
Also, the N12 is more landlord focused,
Exactly.
right? It's more landlord, so it's more the onus is on me to prove as opposed to me proving the tenant, which,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
Their non-payment of rent.
so yeah, it was disappointing because had this happened a year prior, I would have been completely good with the N12 because
Yeah.
the property was still under my corporate was not under my corporation.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I initially did the N12, served it,
Yeah.
did the certificate of service, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And then what happened? My hearing date was
Yeah.
so far into the year. So sorry, you know what? I'm so sorry. Let me backtrack. I
Hmm.
initially did the N4,
Yeah.
but I didn't actually apply for the N4.
Yeah.
So I sent them, if you know about the N4 process,
Hmm.
you have to send them it's like a N4 intent.
Yeah.
It's just a
A heads
form.
up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then they have 14 days to pay. If they don't pay after that, you can
Yeah.
then file the N4. I sent them that. I
Yeah.
did the certificate of service, but I never formally filed the N4.
Right.
I switched up within that 14 days and I filed the N12. And then stupid me,
Yeah.
the N12 says you can only apply after 60 days and then you give them compensation,
Yes.
1 month
Yeah.
compensation. Stupid me, I thought you had to wait 60 days before you can even
Uh,
apply.
yeah.
So I sat around for months,
Yeah.
just months and months, chilling, waiting to fulfill the N12 requirements. And then all of a sudden I realized that I could have applied,
Right away.
immediately.
Yeah.
So between that, I finally got the N12.
Yeah.
I finally applied for the N12, and once I applied for the N12, I got my hearing date, which is all the way months later.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, then I might as well just apply for the N4 because I've already satisfied that
Exactly.
and I could still do that.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then my hearing date was sooner.
Yeah.
So that hearing date happened. You want me to go into the hearing?
Of
Get
course.
it?
Yes.
This man's
Give us
trying to,
the
he
nitty
wants the
gritty.
details.
Yes.
So we did the N12, or I submitted the N4
Yeah.
and got a hearing date. By the way, I have the N12 still pending.
Yeah.
It's still there. So I have the hearing scheduled, but it's months later.
Of course.
So we just recently completed the hearing for the N4, and it was a little bit of a gong show.
Yeah.
So remember, they send this stuff out weeks prior.
Yes.
So I think it was maybe a month or 2 months before we even got our hearing date.
Yeah.
So the tenant was aware, I was aware, and all good.
Yes.
No issues between now and when I filed for the N4 and the hearing date, no
Yeah.
issues really. The tenant actually paid 1 month's rent.
Okay.
But ironically, she paid another month's, but I think she just used my money that I gave her from the N12 because remember, I got to
Ah,
compensate her.
of course.
So I got 2 months, or maybe really just 1 month
Of course.
of rent prior to our hearing date.
Yeah.
So the month of the hearing date, I
Yeah.
was really expecting to get rent. I did not receive rent from her during the month of the
Of
hearing date.
course. Yeah.
So we have the hearing,
Mhm.
and At this point, I had a lawyer. I
Yeah.
decided to just get a lawyer. I said, why take the risk, whatever.
Invest in
So,
professionals.
exactly.
Yeah.
So me and my lawyer, we attend. It's like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Stupid me. I was late by 5 minutes. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have. Don't be late.
CP time.
Yeah, yeah. So I log in and I mean I didn't think they'd be on time exactly, but literally I came in 5 minutes late and the lady, the organizer, she's just blazing. She's done like three or four of them already, like
Wow.
preparing them,
Yeah.
not completed,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So then I log in and then she's like, "Hello, Mr." And I think 905, whatever, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
my
Exactly.
number that shows up. I think it displays my name. So
Yeah.
hello, Kevin. Which docket are you on? I give her the docket number, and then she's like, "Okay, are you with representation?" I'm like, "Yes." This is Scott, and so she's like, "Okay, you are number 14."
Hmm.
Right? So my theory is if I was there 5 minutes early, I probably would have been number three or four.
Yeah.
So I'm number 14 now.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, man, I don't want to be delayed or they miss me. You know what
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean?
For
But
the
I
day.
figured I'm in the middle,
Yeah.
right? I think total there are 20.
Yeah.
So I'm number 14. My tenant is not there. So
And
I'm five
this
minutes late.
this is in person?
No, this is like
It's a
it's a
virtual.
virtual.
Okay. And I guess the landlord and tenant board to expedite things, they do these hearings virtually now.
That's right.
Okay, got you.
Exactly. So this is all virtual. So I do not see my tenant in the system or
Yeah.
in the queue or the chat.
Yeah.
So we're about maybe 20, 30 minutes into this thing,
Yeah.
and we're just kind of waiting for our turn. And then I finally see my tenant come online. And I'm like, okay, all right. So we're just waiting to be heard, and then we're gonna go into the room and do the first mediation. Usually
Yeah.
you do mediation, or they ask you if you want to do mediation.
Of
We
course.
opted to do mediation
Yeah.
if the tenant was willing. So everyone's quiet, waiting. Then all of a sudden, my tenant starts saying hello, and the organizer like, hello, hello, miss.
Yeah.
And my tenant's like, can I get some help here?
Completely lost.
Yeah, and the organizer was like, okay, miss, I heard you and you mentioned your name and you mentioned the docket number. That's why you're in this queue right now. So what
What
do
do you
you need?
need?
So I don't know. She said something, and then the organizer was just kind of trying to calm her down because
Yeah.
she's getting frustrated. And then I guess, how they say the hammer gets the nail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we've been isolated. So she's like, okay, you know what? We'll send you guys to mediation.
Yeah.
Because she agreed, I agreed, right? So we go to mediation.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, apparently my tenant was at Tim Hortons.
Oh yeah, that's a good
A
place
great
to.
place, right?
Yeah.
For something so important.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're in mediation. The mediator is trying to speak to my tenant, and all you're hearing is, "Ha, I, I don't, I, my, my, and she's like, "Excuse me, miss, like we cannot hear you,
Yeah.
and for this to go and proceed smoothly, I need to know that you can hear, and this is,
Connectivity.
yeah."
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm at Tim Hortons." Uh, and so the mediator's like, okay, so two things. We cannot hear you.
Hmm.
And this is a private session. So the fact that you
Yeah.
mentioned that you're in a public place,
Exactly.
this can be a problem, miss.
Yeah.
So then my tenant, remember this is live,
Yeah.
this is happening. So the tenant is now getting frustrated.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. What do you, and the mediator's like, again, miss, I can't
Yeah.
hear you. But this is what's crazy. All of a sudden, it became clear, and then all you heard was, I wish all these people would effing die.
Whoa.
So, so
Whoa.
then the mediator is like,
Yeah.
excuse me?
Yeah.
Miss, you cannot say that. I know it's frustrating, but you cannot say that.
Yeah.
And so I'm ending this right now. And I'm going to be telling the adjudicator, and I'm
Yeah.
putting you guys back into the main queue.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was our mediation. Ending with, I wish you would all effing die.
Isn't
That's
that
what my tenant
isn't that
basically told us all.
that's a death threat. Isn't there
Literally.
some type of charge that can
I don't know.
be associated with that?
I don't know. But
Wow.
remember, tenant friendly.
That is true. And she was with
Tenant,
Tim Hortons, so
yeah,
you got to understand, she didn't get her coffee, so
yeah, tenant friendly. So then we're finally pulled into the adjudicator.
yeah,
So our time, the main show, the
yeah.
main show's going on now. So we meet with the adjudicator, and the adjudicator basically asks, tenant, do you agree that you owe, this much money?
How much is it?
Over around 10,000 at this
Yeah,
point. Yeah, not great, not a lot. I know there's worse, but
yeah. Well, that's 10K in rent,
that's right.
correct? So, not to mention the damages from
Yeah,
XYZ.
yeah, police. And
So, you're probably what 15 to 20,000 in the hole when you factor in all the damage
yeah,
and what repairs would look like and everything.
yeah. I think it would be safe to say that. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah,
So we're in the adjudicator. We're meeting. We're in the virtual room with him, and he goes to the tenant. You know, do you agree that you owe 10,000? Tenant says no.
yeah, of course.
So then I like the adjudicator. He's like, okay, well, how much? How much have you paid?
Yeah,
How many months? Or he did it. He did a different way. He's like, do you agree that you've only paid 2 months? She
yeah.
says yes. And the adjudicator, okay, well then you owe 10.
Same answer.
Yeah, the same thing in a different way.
Yeah.
So he's like, well then, if you've only done 2 months, or in this month of the
Hmm.
year, you owe this much.
Mathematically,
Yeah.
you do the math. There you go.
So then she agreed.
Yeah.
And so the adjudicator just, started pressing, asking us, just some things at a lawyer. So my lawyer's
Yeah.
talking for me. And I think at one point he said, do you have anything else to say, tenant? And she basically was like, I don't know why I'm here. All right, it's only me. There's multiple people on
The
the
lease.
lease, so I don't know why I'm being picked on and blah blah blah. And the adjudicator basically said, well, Mr. Powell can do whatever he wants. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, he can go after both of you. He can go after one of you. That's not his thing. He doesn't have to. That's not his problem.
But moreover, there's only tenant B left in the property.
That's true.
Tenant A is no longer there, so therefore the de facto person to continue to pay rent and not pay rent is tenant B.
Yeah,
So
I
that's why they're there.
you're 100% right. I think from a technical legal standpoint,
Yeah.
because real quickly backtrack,
Hmm.
when tenant A left,
Yeah.
tenant A did send me a notice from a pseudo paralegal
Yeah.
requesting that I do remove him officially.
Of course.
So I think he said he was willing to sign an N9 or
Yeah.
something. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
But it wouldn't apply really because that's for an entire tenancy, not to just extract one
Yeah,
person from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But had I agreed though,
Yeah.
it would
Then
have triggered a new
a new lease. Yeah, of
contract
course.
because
And you'd have to requalify
that's
her
right.
alone or tenant B.
That's right. So that contract would have effectively been null and void.
Yeah.
And if I did that, then my tenant B that's on the call would have
Yeah.
had a
Of
case, but I never
course.
did that.
Yeah.
So the adjudicator was setting her straight that, Mr. Powell can do whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
And so long story short, he's basically asking the tenant, when can you pay this arrears? And I think she mentioned that she doesn't have a job or something, but
Oh, she doesn't have a job.
I know, conveniently
That's
enough,
very
I know,
good.
fun stuff, eh?
Yeah.
But I'm glad the adjudicator kind of didn't really care,
Yeah.
right? I'm glad he didn't. But then, he did basically say, can you do this in 90 days?
Yeah.
And she said yes. And I guess from an adjudicator perspective, like, okay, I got her to say yes, let's
So
move
that's
on,
all.
right?
Yeah.
Mind you, she's only paid 2 months,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, to me as a landlord, I'm like, why are you giving more time? Like, why
More
can't you
time to
just,
not pay rent.
yeah, why can't,
Yeah.
because she has to pay rent on on the first of the month as usual. That has to
On
happen.
top of the
But why
arrears.
not just do it where on the 15th she pays an additional 300
Yeah.
towards that
Payment
payment?
plan.
You would
Yeah.
think. But then I don't know, the adjudicator was like, "No, you got to just pay it all 100% in 90 days." Who the hell's going to get $10,000 in 90 days? You would think having
Someone who's unemployed
I know.
wasn't paying the rent when tenant A left, so it's safe to assume they won't be able to come up with the money.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
you're going to have to continue to carry the cost of the property without receiving rental revenue.
Exactly.
which is a big
Unfortunately.
concern for landlords. There's so many scenarios where, it either be a mom and pop landlord or an entity that has multiple properties. But the main fact is it's a single family home. And so if there's no rent coming in, that's it. It's not like a multi-res or an apartment building where if one person isn't paying rent, you still have other sources of income from rent coming. It stops, but you have to continue paying the mortgage. You have to continue keeping up with the expenses, and that can be burdensome for a lot of people. And that's where it's scary for landlords to want to actually be landlords because unfortunately in Ontario it's so tenant friendly. Understandably, I understand how we got to where we are, slumlords and all of that stuff, but the reality is there are landlords that can't afford to carry a property without receiving any type of rental revenue. I don't believe you're in that situation, but if you were, you'd lose your house.
Yeah.
And then what? The tenant would have the mortgagor showing up saying, "Hey, you got a tour in your rents and they have to go to us, or they might sell it and then kick the tenant out anyway." So that's something that tenants really need to be aware of. It can eventually blow up in your face if you're not paying rent. So just be mindful of that.
Hmm. You know what? It's funny. I never really thought about it like that, but you're 100% right. Like if it's sort of mutual
Yeah,
destruction.
exactly.
I never really thought of it like that, but just because, and this is where I'll push back a little bit on that. Not
Yeah.
to say that you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's just we don't look at it. Let's be honest. I'm only thinking about my side. She's only thinking about her side.
Yeah.
But if you really looked at it like that, then yeah, you would think, and more so on the tenant side, if I fail, you fail,
Exactly.
right? If I
Yeah.
go down, we all go down.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that number one, I don't want to lose my investment,
Yeah.
so I'm more gonna
And
try
you're
to,
more invested in
yeah,
keeping it. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, it is. You're totally right because the banks aren't gonna, they're not gonna want to get rent from you.
No, not at
They're
all.
just gonna foreclose on the property, and then you're gonna get kicked out by
Yeah.
definition because when they foreclose, no one can live in it at
Yeah.
all. Or they'll do some other crazy thing that either way will not work for you, Mr. Tenant or Miss
Exactly.
Tenant.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's you're 100% right.